At least I feel and I realize that everything arises in space of I am, but there is still something attached that prevents seeing completely and bringing a lot of suffering. Any recommendations? So, like when we get into this subject, there's like lots of different stages along the parent path, but it's only apparent because in actuality, all we ever have is this moment. So the idea that you suffer is something that comes and goes in time. It's not actually something that's here. You can't really grab onto it, and you can't really grab onto suffering. So if you sit here and allow the suffering to arise and become really present to it, so the mind's not going into all these elaborate stories, like you don't even know what suffering is. There is sensation appearing. You don't even know what pain and pleasure is. So with Khaleesi, who is sleeping over there and having a little bit of a wheeze at the moment, like she gets toothache sometimes, but she doesn't even know that she has toothache. I think she gets toothache. There's something around the mouth that's hurting. We're trying to sort it out. So to her, it's not good or bad because she doesn't know that. Even though sometimes she might cry and brush her face, she doesn't know that she has pain or pleasure. Her body is directed towards pleasure. So if I put a piece of chicken down, she's like, woohoo! Yes, please. If I put a carrot down, she's like, F off, Lisa. What do you take me for? But she in herself, like, can't separate from it. It's everything there is. And that's the same what's happening there. It's just that your mind is having these really strong, elongated stories about it. So there is many things that can seemingly happen. You could think that I'm now giving you a prescription of something that you can do, but I don't see it like that. Like, I can't give you a prescription of something you can do. I can say things, and then there can be a happening that happens there. There can be action that's taken. Because who would I be to say something to you to act independently from this? But yet I can give you cooking ingredients and a recipe, and there can seemingly be a cake made. So my recommendation, even though it's not prescriptive, it's descriptive of something that can happen, would be to carry on listening to non-duality. So listen to that which makes your heart sing. So keep hearing it, keep bathing in it. And then on the human level, work on the psychology of the person and the energies of the person and the body. And then also, when you're not doing that, keep moving the attention away from going into all these extreme, elongated thoughts back to the present moment. If it's too uncomfortable to put it in your body because there's too much pain, then put the tension out in consciousness. If the body is feeling peaceful, then you can put it more in the body. In the end, I ultimately don't know the effect of this, but from my experience of working with people and my own personal experience, like this is a great way to calm down the body. I feel like if you just do one or the other, like if you just keep putting the attention in the present moment, or if you just work on psychology, that will eventually get stuck. So they have to be molded together. And when I say work on the psychology, what I mean is understanding the person and understanding what the experience is of being a person. So going into the body, understanding emotions, understanding what you feel in the moment, understanding what you want from others, understanding what you want from life, and not trying to avoid that with non-duality quotes. Because like Khaleesi, there will always be a movement towards pleasure. So it's important that that's known. What non-duality is pointing to is that that pleasure won't bring you freedom. But the way the body works is that it moves towards pleasure. So understanding which ways that body is wanting to move and what it's wanting to do is super important. There is so much conditioning which will stop you organically moving towards what is right for that body. The way your parents taught you, if they shamed you for wanting things, if they neglected you, if they overpraised you, if if at school you were bullied or you were the genius, there's all these different conditionings that we then take on these ideas and we embody these ideas that aren't really true to our flow. So if you work with a skilled therapist or maybe a non-duality teacher, there's lots of recommendations on my website. You will slowly unpick what your natural flow is and becoming more authentically you on the human level. It's ironic that often in waking up, you have to become more authentically you. The reason that is because when you're not authentically being you, you're going out into time in extreme quantities. So you're living in this illusion in extreme quantities. When you become more yourself, it's like playing the piano. You forget yourself. In becoming yourself, you forget yourself. So when you're playing the piano and you're really in the moment and really enjoying playing the piano, there is no separation between you and the piano. The same with being yourself. When you stop being all these illusions of yourself and come back to the more authentic, your personality, you stop going out into all these stories of who you have to be, what you should be, and living in a time-bound reality. It's like an embodied person. And in you, you disappear. So it's like as you become more simple, then something else wakes up. Even though waking up isn't personal. I know that that's really contradictory, but you'll begin to see what you mean. As you become reduced, you'll begin to see there isn't somebody there. But don't try and implement that on somebody that is greatly suffering in time. Go seek help from an individual. Don't try and do it yourself, because you'll go into your ego. You'll go into your ways of being. Have somebody reflect this back to you. Reflect back what they see to you. And work on that, the way you say to people what you want or don't want, what you feel in your body, what's underneath these feelings, why you get angry when someone says this, all these types of things. And if you can't afford working with someone, then you use the internet. There's so many great videos out there. Yeah, thank you for your question.